Hello everyone, my name is DimitriusMac and welcome back to another episode of Tips, a series where I give unorthodox yet effective tips on how to succeed in video games. And today, folks, it's going to be something a little bit different than how to succeed in actual video games. It's going to actually how to succeed, as you may have read in the title, how to succeed at conventions, or in this case E3. It was my first attending something of this scale on this magnitude, folks, and today I absolutely just wanted to make the purpose of this video is for anyone who may be in my shoes in the future, someone who has never been to a con, who has never gone by themselves, who may be nervous and may be having doubts about going to said con or to anything, really. It doesn't have to be E3, it could be anything, and feeling really nervous. But I'm going to be giving you pointers of what I experienced specifically from E3, although it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be specifically related to E3. So rule number one for attending E3 for the very first time, one of the things you should know is that there's going to be an abundance of very, very, very passionate people here. You are not going to be the only one, so I would suggest getting there as early as possible. I talked to some folks, and there were some people who lined up as early as 6 a.m., and on most of the days, the doors don't open until 10 a.m. Now, I'm not saying you have to absolutely do that. I'm just saying if you're a person who wants to get into a very specific thing and you want to get it over with, and it's something that has really been on your list, and it's one of the main reasons why you went to E3, I would suggest getting there very, very early. Me personally, I didn't have anything like that. I wanted to go and I wanted to experience it all the most. I didn't have anything coming that I absolutely 100% needed to do, I guess. But if you're that person, I would 100% suggest that you get there early, because parking is going to be a mess. Also, make sure that you look around for parking, look around the area. For me, I wasn't familiar with the area. I was one of the people that looked around and I found the best deal, and I saved myself money each and every day by just looking around, looking for the cheapest parking lots available, because it's a very busy area, and there's going to be a lot of bad parking spots that charge you a lot, and there's going to be, you know, some where you can actually get a deal. So definitely come early and make sure that you have everything situated, is basically what I'm trying to say, before we even get into the actual show halls. The second thing that I want to suggest to you folks, though, especially if you're going by yourself, I would suggest staying away from the long lines. There should be somebody helping or at the end of each line, and they should be able to tell you a rough estimate of how long said line is going to be. It is my personal opinion to suggest to you, if you want to experience the fullness of E3, if that's what you care about, you want to get the most bang for your buck, everything that you possibly could squeeze in, I would suggest staying away from the long lines, even if it's for something that's really cool. Why? Because, well, they're long lines, and honestly, they're going to take a bunch of your time. And there's some lines that were there that took about 3 to 4 hours, and that's 3 to 4 hours of your day that you're stuck in line for one event. And I'm not knocking anybody that does things like this. I'm just saying, if you're somebody who wants to go down there and you want to experience the whole thing, if you want to see things that you wouldn't normally see or that you wouldn't normally really get involved with, like maybe an indie game or something like that, or lesser known developers, or just shows in general that you wouldn't do, I suggest that you go and do those, because there will be a lot less attraction to those, and you can get the best out of your E3 experience. And I think that's one of the things that you absolutely need to keep in mind. You need to keep in mind that there's going to be some long lines for a lot of things, and that you need to be prepared that to either spend most of your time in line waiting for one really, really cool thing, or you could go around and spend your day doing things that may not be as cool, but you get more of an experience at it. So it's up to you to choose. Number 3, and this is very, very important, make sure to bring water, stay hydrated. One of the lifesavers of this was having my a container with me that had water in it, because honestly, it's very, very humid in there. It's a very, very crowded space. There's a lot of people who you're gonna be next to for long periods of time, especially if you're staying in line. And 2, there's gonna be a lot of people who generally smell bad. I mean, and that doesn't really have anything to do with water. It has to do with my next point, which is to shower, of course. Make sure that you shower. You don't need to put on like all sorts of perfume or cologne or anything like that. Just make sure you shower. I'm just saying, please, folks, because let me tell you, there was a lot of people who simply, I felt like, did not bathe at all. And it was kind of disgusting to have to stand next to these individuals for long periods of time. So do us all a favor and just make sure that you're cleanly, at least attempt to be. All right, I know we're all very excited about this event, but please just be cleanly as you can. Next thing I want to talk about is don't freak out. Don't freak out. Don't be intimidated by big lines. Don't be intimidated by not knowing where to go. Don't be intimidated by the massiveness of it all. What you do is you just go in and you have fun. You go in and you explore, and you really, I don't want to say you should have a plan. When you get there, you should have. I wouldn't pre-plan for anything because you never know what's going to have a long line. You never know what's going to be happening in that area. I suggest absolutely going in and not having a plan of what you want to see, unless you know for a fact that your plan is going to work out 100% the way it is built in your mind. If you think you're going to go and play 5, 6 Nintendo exclusive games, I'm here to tell you that that's not going to happen, at least not in one day, because honestly there's going to be way too many people for that specific attraction. There's going to be way too many people in a Nintendo line or in a Sony line or something, like, for you to experience all those cool games that you may want to in one day. So you should honestly go about your day either not having a plan or having a plan to see stuff that is not as important to you, or you may not think is important. There's a lot of cool stuff, and I think that is one of the key factors of having a successful E3, especially if you go alone. And the last thing I want to talk about, and that is just the simple fun factor. Have fun. Interact with people. Do what you came to do there, you know? If you're someone like me, if you're someone from the general public who just came there to have a good time, to experience something that they didn't think they were going to experience this year until it was announced pretty much at the, early in February, I believe it was. Have fun. Go down there. Don't stress out about anything. Experience as much as you can, because it's a massive event with things going on at all times. You should never, ever, ever be bored. And you should just go in and have a good time and not worry. Don't overthink things, and you will have a fantastic time. And one last thing too, they do have food trucks outside of the West Hall, I believe. They're a bit pricey, but I would suggest them because the Korean bombs truck, I believe it was called Korean Bombs or something. I'm forgetting the name, but if you go, I'm pretty sure they're going to be back next year, and I hope they are, because I plan on going next year as well. You'll know what I'm talking about. They're really good, and they're really pricey, and I think the food trucks are pretty pricey, but you get some good quality food, and you're definitely going to need energy, because you're going to be either standing for periods for long, standing in place for periods of a long time, or you're going to be walking around. And it's a time consuming, and it's also a very, very energy consuming experience at E3 each and every day. Make sure that you stay hydrated, and also make sure that there's plenty of food in your stomach as well. That way you can have the energy you need to succeed and to have the best time at E3. So that is pretty much it, folks. Those are the tips that I have. I know they're kind of straightforward, folks, but trust me, when you get in here, you're going to start thinking about a lot. You're going to be overthinking things, and just keep in mind the things that I said, folks, and have a good time. But that is it, folks, for this episode of Tips. Tips drops once every month, so be sure to check out previous episodes of Tips if you're interested in that. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this if you aren't already subscribed. And with that being said, folks, I'm going to go cool off again. I'm living in California, and we have literally just experienced one of the hottest days in recent memory in this place, and it is just absolutely burning up, which is primarily the reason why I'm filming this at night now. It was just too hot today to even function. All right. What's the saying? I can't even right now. But that is it, folks. So I will see you all in the next video. Until then, I'm DimitriusMac, and I'm out. Peace.
Fight them all, yeah, I'm burning it up. DPGC, you should be turning it up. CPT, LBC, yeah, we hooking back up. And when they bang us in the club, baby, you got to get up. Cause homies, thug homies, yeah, they giving it up. Low lie, yo lie, boy, we living it up. Taking chances while we dancing in the party for show. Slip my girl a 44 when she crept in the back.